Hey guys, in today's training, we're going to focus on how you can go from feeling stuck or feeling like you're on the cusp of burnout to taking back control of your life again so you can create the life and business you deserve to have using our Ascension mindset system. So let's dive into today's training, which focuses on the Ascension Way for entrepreneurs who want to grow without sacrificing your personal life. So a little bit about me, if we're meeting for the first time, my name is John. I'm a performance mindset coach. I'm a professionally certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, which are actually the leading governing body in the coaching industry, which is largely unregulated. I have over 1,000 hours of coaching experience with high achievers, high entrepreneurs across the globe, helping them with a range of different challenges that they've experienced at a mindset level, at a neuro level, to help them really recreate themselves so they can go create the life that they actually want to live. So today's training, we're going to dive into number one, the problem, why current solutions fall short, and finally, the Ascension Way and how that is different. But to frame the conversation, we're going to look at it from the lens of the weight of expectations that an entrepreneur has to carry on a daily basis is a heavy weight. Now, I want you to reflect on that for a second for yourself and think about the life that you have as a result of the business that you've created, the additional stresses and pressures that you have to carry, and only you can truly understand, that don't disappear when you go home. That it's stuff that lingers, it's stuff that you feel like you always have to carry an additional weight around with you. And that is what we're here to help you with today. 72% of entrepreneurs deal with mental and emotional challenges on a daily basis. 72%, which is a massive amount. Most will turn to tactical solutions like business coaching, self-help books, podcasts, or feel-good seminars. Don't get me wrong. I have a business coach. I read books. I listen to podcasts, but they're not the deeper solution that we need in order to create the actual transformation that we need to experience to get to our next level and move past our current limitations. The problem is they find themselves needing to seek the next solution. So when you finish one book, you need to go to the next book, or you attend a seminar, you get an initial boost of motivation, but that then wanes and you need the next solution because the last one failed to have an impact. Most of these solutions only touch the surface of the real problems that are actually unconscious patterns running your life. So what is the Ascension Way and how is it different? It's a top-down system, meaning we focus on getting you right, your mindset right, bringing some balance in mentality and emotionality so you can actually lead, perform, and succeed without having to sacrifice your personal life. It's life principles over tactics. So we're focusing on principles that are encompassing all areas of your life. Science-driven mindset system, which we touch on, and we focus on elevating you, which is actually most important. So the first step, the first thing that we do, and the first thing you can do after watching this training is create an ascension vision. Create a life and vision that encompasses all areas of your life. That's not just focused on business, that actually prioritizes you first and starts to bring more excitement and more alignment with your values and your priorities that's actually most important for you. Because let's be honest, you're not just an entrepreneur. You could be a father, you could be a husband, and you're a human being who actually needs to be nurtured in order to be able to perform consistently. So we're going to focus on moving away from time management to work-life integration. Realign values and things that inspire you to wake up every day to execute. This is the top of what we do because everything else distills from this. The next step that we walk our clients through is our Ascension life system, prioritizing you first. So again, we're moving away from the concept of time management and we're moving towards life management. Because like we said, you're not just an entrepreneur. You're a dad, a husband, a human being, a person who's actually got values, a person who needs to take care of their own personal health. So we have to learn how to prioritize you first so you can actually fill your own cup and be able to give to others, which most entrepreneurs never actually do, right? It's like putting on your oxygen mask first so you can then help your kids and help your family in need of that situation. Second thing we're going to do, or second thing you need to do in terms of creating a life system is to find your Ascension multipliers. These are going to be the 20% that get you 80% of your results. We're going to focus on tracking and reviewing that so we know what's working, what's not working, and it actually very much ties into the mindset system and the new patterns we're trying to create in terms of our mindset and in terms of the behaviors that we're trying to realign. We're focusing on process over outcome. Next, we have Ascension Mindset System. So this is the core of everything I do as a mindset expert, and is broken into 3 pillars or principles, because they're not a tactic, meaning there's not just one way to do these. It's a principle, and then you find what works best for you in terms of how do I know my story, change my story, and train my story. So we need to first deconstruct to reconstruct. There's a quote from Carl Jung that says, "Until we bring the unconscious to the conscious, it will continue to direct our life, and we will call it faith." And that is exactly what most people do. We live on autopilot. You're running on an old identity, an old mindset system, old beliefs, things that were shaped from a long time ago before you even started business. Influence from those around you, influence from your environment, what you experienced growing up starts to shape a certain perception, and then shapes the expectation of what you expect in your business. So until we deconstruct it to reconstruct, we'll continue to fall in the same pattern. Just to touch a little bit more on the mindset system. So we have know your story, which is bringing the unconscious to the conscious. We have change your story, which is going to tie into the vision that we actually create and the new mindset narratives, the new identities that we want to install as a result of the person we're trying to become. We're always trying to step into our future self and away from our old self, because we're all stuck in this old identity, and we're all stuck in these old emotions that we keep trapped in our body that stop us from being able to do what we need to, that lead to things like self-sabotage, that lead to getting in our own way. And that's what actually stops us from having success. It's not the tactic or strategy, it's ourself who gets in the way of running the game plan. And that's what we want to change. Next, you need to focus on creating chunks, blocks, right? Whether it's 90 days or whether it's 6-week sprints, working in structured blocks. Why is that important? Well, number one is when you have a long-term vision or a long-term yearly goal, you have motivation at the beginning. But once after about 18 to 21 days, your brain starts to lose motivation, meaning it starts to see the goal as being unaccomplished, therefore ineffective. So what do? We look for something new and shiny. So we work in shorter blocks, which gives us a clear focus. So we do our thinking at the beginning of the 90 days or at the beginning of the 6-week cycle, and then we can plan, and then we can adapt after the 90 days. Then all we need to do is simply run the game plan every single day. So you've got clarity, you have a vision, you have a life management system, which is going to prioritize you to make sure that all areas of your life are getting nurtured. So you're not just growing as a business owner, you're cultivating your marriage, you're becoming a better father, you're getting into the best shape of your life physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we run this game plan every single day. And finally is the final layer, 1% gains, which is so important. Meaning once we've done the foundational work, it doesn't stop. It's just like going to the gym. It's the same for training your mindset. It's the same for finding balance in mentality and emotionality, right? If you've tracked things like your HRV score, for example, which is stuff that we will touch on. Health, relationships, and business. How do we continue to grow? How do we continue to improve? How do we continue to elevate ourselves so we can have a better perspective, we can create better mindsets, we can create better thinking habits, we can have elevated emotions that lead to us not just performing consistently, but actually enjoying the life that we're creating, which is so important. And this also evolves with our future self. So if you're interested in working with me and learning more about what we do, just message me Mindset on Instagram at @officialjohnkane, and let's connect on a call and walk through what that actually looks like. Very briefly, I want to touch on a couple of clients that I've worked with who not only have I worked with for a shorter period, but have actually worked with for a 2 to 3 year period because of the transformations, number one, that we were able to get, but what happened in their life as a result of that, which opened up their perspective to what's actually possible. And that is the real key. It's like, when an airplane uses most of its fuel to get off the ground, right? It's the most challenging part, is to get that momentum to get off the ground. Once we get off the ground, now we have an elevated view of our life and our business, so we can actually start to make longer term changes, and that will continue to evolve as we evolve. But using an example, one of my clients, Keone, who, when I first connected with him, he was in a place that he'd invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money into different coaches, into different mentors, which were all very tactical and strategic. Now, what he'd learned from them was very useful, but not until we got this right first. And that is exactly what we did on the very first call that I had. I was able to identify his limiting blocks. I was able to identify the limiting beliefs that were holding him back from having the business he wanted. The internal drivers, for example, feeling like he needed to please others, feeling like he was doing it to prove a point. All of these things are non-serving. Bring them to the surface, help you see what they are. We can help you detach from them, releasing the grip they have on you. Then we create the mindset that takes it in the opposite direction. A couple of years later, Hyun is absolutely thriving in life. He's working less than ever. He's feeling more content, more happy, more fulfilled with his life than ever. And what's most important for me is how he framed it is he feels like he doesn't need to force anything, that everything is naturally aligning for him because of that deep work that he has done, that he's now able to create the life that he wanted, and that actually supports his family and gives him opportunities to have an even bigger impact moving forward. Another one of my clients, Paul, who I worked with, responsible for running a seven-figure business, had tried all the seminars, had tried all of the programs, had tried all of the courses, the masterminds, but the things that were actually stopping him were the things that were happening internally that had nothing to do with what he was being educated on or thought on inside of these masterminds. Again, all of that information, very useful. But once we're able to really dive, like, what are the things holding you back? What are the underlying narratives about how you really see yourself? How does that affect how you show up every single day? In what ways are you getting in your own way? So once we can overcome that, you can actually perform consistently. These are the deep level changes that lead to long-term transformations. And that is what I'm after. I'm not just here to help you grow your business. Your business will grow as a result of the work we do together on you, on growing you, on elevating your mindset, on elevating the emotions that you experience on a daily basis, on elevating the consistent behaviors that align with your vision, align with your future self, and are always moving away from those old identities, old narratives, old ways of operating. We work on creating your operational system, which is your identity, which is your alignment, and which is your mindset. So very briefly, going back to some details that I would like to briefly touch on in terms of what it would look like to be a part of what we have just created. Is called the Dojo. Master your mindset, master your life. So if you're ready to eliminate burnout, lead with clarity, grow your business sustainably, and finally create the life that you actually want, the Dojo is where this happens. This isn't about grinding harder. And that's what business owners always fall into. And it's what all of the gurus always promote and talk about because, let's be honest, that's what sells. It's about mastering the systems, mindsets, and habits that make you unstoppable. So you become the person who can accomplish any goal. And that is always my aim as a coach. So it's for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to grow their business without burnout cycles, value self-development, family, fitness, and faith, are tired of reading the books or attending all the seminars and constantly needing to find the next solution, want to reduce their stress, reclaim some balance, and build a legacy that you're proud of. Aspire to be more present at home, a stronger leader in business, and a role model for your kids. Want to learn mindset skills that directly increase performance and success, and stuff that you can actually integrate into the culture within your company so you can teach this to not just your employees, but your kids, your family members, making you a better communicator, having deeper relationships with your spouse, because you understand how this works. And when we understand how this works, we understand how everything works. If you've achieved success, but feel like it's come at the cost of your peace, this is for you. The Dojo is not for you. And I'm not interested in working with people who are looking for just a quick hack or quick solution. The next quick hack that's going to lead to you needing the next thing. You want to hustle 80 hours a week and sacrifice your health and family in the process. You're not willing to take ownership and do the actual work. You'd rather complain about problems than implementing solutions. You're committed to self-sabotaging your life and business, and you're unwilling to invest in your personal growth. We've already gone through the 5 steps to ascension, that we do inside of our programs or when you work with me in a private capacity. So here they are again, broken down for you. But what I want to do in terms of framing the end of this conversation is, this is the real work. When we master our mindset and we learn how to regulate our own state, that is when we become unstoppable. That is when success becomes the end result of the person we've become. Because we've now learned how to have emotional neutrality, have a mindset, a neutrality mindset that allows us to ride the waves of business ownership with ease and elegance. Because it's going to be the one who can do that. It's going to be the one who can, when the challenges hit, when you're stuck in the valley, that we can help you see the horizon at the end. Or when you're at a high and everything is going well, that we're able to shift your perspective to make sure that you don't drop off or lower your expectations and standards. So if you're ready to join the dojo, or you'd like to find out what it would be like to work with me in a private capacity, message me the word "I'm in" on Instagram. You can find me at official John Kane, or reply to you can contact me on any of my social medias, or you can contact me on Instagram, or just email me at john at ascensionu.co. John at ascensionu.co, and we will find a time to connect on a call so we can help you become the best version of yourself, so you can have that life and business that you deserve, and you don't have to sacrifice your personal life or burn your personal life into the ground just because you want to succeed in business. So I look forward to welcoming you to the dojo. I look forward to connecting with you on a call and seeing what we would be look like to overcome and create together. So until next time, be well, and as always, ascend